Dams are human-made barriers put in situ to carry water and lift its level. This leads to a kind of reservoir which will generate electricity and act as a water system. Many of the world's dams are aging, which begs the question, will some soon fail? Possibly. From a natural dam in Tajikistan to maintenance required at the Bokkar Dam, here are 5 that would fail at any second. Number 5. Ingi Dam. The Ingi Dam and water reservoir are located within the Republic of Georgia, encompassed by mountain slopes. Just 2.5 kilometers from the dam may be a mountain ridge along a reservoir, which is suffering from active deformations. The western slope which faces the reservoir also has deformations, while the main road has a slip rate of up to 9 centimeters a year. According to studies based on seismological and field data, seismic shaking could lead to destabilization of the slope, which could result in landslides causing mountain rapid uplift, river erosion, and lake variations. Because of Ingi Dam's location near geological features in one of the most tectonically active regions of the Caucasus, slope stability studies are needed to be carried out of the slopes around the water reservoir. Current studies into landslides near Ingi Dam and possible seismotectonic effects show that during any large lake level decreases, the low hydraulic conductivity of the upper slope could lead to increased movement in the onshore parts of the slope. This could cause slope debris and could facilitate acceleration in slope motion. Sure, the Ingi Dam is not at risk of collapse, but its slip rate is definitely worth keeping in mind as a possible risk factor. Number 4. Nurek Dam. Even though we've many dams that would fail at any moment, there's some excellent news to return out of it. A minimum of no dams can fail, which suggests we will take proactive steps to avoid that devastation from happening, and that is pretty much what's happening to the Nurek Dam right now. This large earth-filled dam on the Baksh River in Tajikistan was identified to have increased dam seismicity. As a result, anti-seismic belts are being provided at the upper dam shell, running the full slope length and width. These belts will smoothly disperse stress that could develop in the dam during an earthquake. To adjust the operation of the belt, reinforced concrete and flexible steel connections were also added. The concrete is covered with waterproof epoxy and reinforced with 2 layers of glass fabric. Such measures are likely to give people living around the dam in this Central Asian nation much-needed peace of mind. The Nurek Dam was built by the Soviet Union between 1961 and 1980. It's one of the tallest dams in the world and has a central core of cement with 300-meter-high rock and earth fill. Having that fail could have some devastating consequences. Number 3. Bokkar Dam. While the issues that the Bokkar Dam has been facing won't cause its failure, they're concerning to mention the smallest amount. In 2013, the Bokkar Dam's management board was forced to shut a part of the Bokkar Dam's powerhouse after a fault within the turbine. The inner head cover liner had to be taken out for 3 months to carry out annual maintenance. But the problem is that annual maintenance has been on the same components each year. What is going on with the Bokkar Dam? The head cover liner was found to be detached from its original position because all of its fixing bolts had sheared. Vibrations are only checked manually, so there is no record of vibrations at the time the bolts had sheared. The year before, 10 of the bolts in the turbine were also found to have been sheared and were replaced by new ones. 6 of those same bolts which had been replaced were found to be sheared in the next inspection. As it turns out, the bolts that had been replaced with were mild steel, whereas the originals were carbon steel. It was recommended that they use carbon steel bolts going forward to avoid this problem from turning into something much more significant than it already was. Number 2. Smallwood Lake Dam. In 2020, historic rains resulted in 2 Midland area dams failing. In danger during this torrential rainfall was the Smallwood Dam, which is upstream from those 2 failed dams. Of particular concern is that the owner of the dam told federal officials that it had sustained no consequential damage after the rain. However, officials from the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission disagreed with the dam's owners, Boise Hydro Incorporated, and believe that it did. In fact, after a site assessment, they think it sustained erosion damage in several locations. As a result, the FERC's Division of Dam Safety and Inspection ordered the company to draw down the water levels at the Smallwood and Secord dams to identify safety issues. While information on the dam's damage wasn't released to the public, state officials said both the Smallwood and Secord dams were deemed to be in relatively stable condition, but damage was identified next to the powerhouse. As a result, staff had to place fill to stop erosion and stabilize the embankment. Even though inspectors in 2019 deemed the dam to be in satisfactory condition in 2019, it's a high-hazard dam, which means its failure could cause loss of life. Number 1. Coulee Dam. The Coulee Dam isn't in danger of failure. In fact, consistent with the Bureau of Reclamation, the dam may be a stable structure with 12 million cubic yards of concrete with a 550-foot thickness at its base. It's held in situ by the sheer weight of its concrete. In saying that, no dam is completely without risk of failure, so they have outlined what would likely happen if it were to fail or at least be inundated with water. The Bureau says that its monitoring occurs on an ongoing basis, with visual inspections carried out by dam workers and instrumentation placed inside the dam. The scenarios most likely to have an impact on the dam include too much water upstream that comes downstream to the dam at a rapid pace. If the dam was unable to hold back the water, it would flow over the top of the dam and potentially flood areas downstream, including cities. How would they know this could happen? Because it has happened before. In 1948, Oregon's Vanport City, next to Portland, was completely destroyed when the Coulee Dam couldn't stop flooding caused by spring runoff. However, the dam wasn't damaged during that flooding event.